Okay, we're recording and welcome to the first Monday's Zoom session for April 2023. Um, we have one person here who's never been on one, and that's James Hutchison, who's a brand new LibriVox member. And I happen to have run across him right away because he recorded Hemingway's Men Without Women. And my old friend Kevin S. DPL'd for him, and I kind of follow what Kevin's doing. And I discovered you, and I did the cover for your book. Did you see the cover?
Yes, it was lovely. Thank you so much. As I
Good.
said, I didn't even know there were covers. So,
Right. So I asked Kevin what would be a good cover. He said anything lonely. so so I was like, okay, that's pretty lonely right there. So
Michelle, your video's going crazy.
I know it's done that the last couple of times. I have no idea why. Don't know what to do about it. It was fine before. Maybe it's just my electric personality. I don't know. Hi, Rich. How you doing? You want to put your username there
I will do
so we
that.
know that you're a loon. That you're a
Yep.
loon. Okay, so it's 11 o'clock. I want y'all to all bear in mind that this is being recorded for people later who may not know much about LibriVox. Okay, most of us do, but some of what I'm going to be saying is like a little um, tour for new people. Okay, so today we have a very special guest. It's going to be Mark Nelson, whom we all know as S.J. Markey. And I'm going to, as I was telling him before, I'm going to practice my introduction skills just like if I was a famous podcaster who introduces a guest. And and so I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you how I found out how you can spy on people at LibriVox. Let me see. What part of my screen am I going to share? I'm going to share this part of my screen. So if you're on LibriVox and you want to find out about somebody, you go to your home page. You see, this is the home page, and you type in, this is who I want to know about, Mark Nelson, or I could type in his username and I do a search and it comes up with his name, his username, and I click on that. And it takes me to all this work that he's done. Man, and what I want to know is if he's doing anything right now. So if I search reader section details, I can click on that and I can see exactly what he's working on, that he's working on two solos, War and Peace, Volume 3, which he's working on, and War and Peace, Volume 4, which he's set up and hasn't started working on just yet. So that's pretty ambitious, Mark. Pretty ambitious.
Insane, perhaps.
And so I can tell a lot of other things about Mark by clicking on his. Okay, so like when you sign up for LibriVox, it will ask you, if, like when you ask you for your catalog name, do you have a URL you'd like to share, which he did. So we're going to click on his URL. You can go find lots of things about people clicking on the URL. And Mark Douglas Nelson also as Harry Shaw. So he records as Harry Shaw, more than 100 professional audiobooks. Wow. And he records for Audible, for all these other places. You can see a listing of his Audible titles here. He has competitive rates, but guess what? Today, his rates are free for us. And if you need an audiobook recorded, you can call him and there's samples and such forth like that. So we're dealing here with a professional audiobook narrator, and he's going to give us some really good information today. So sharpen your pencils. Now, if you go to his reader page, you can see everything he's ever done for LibriVox. He's done 187 total matches, which means I think books 187 actual projects he's been involved in, and 2,524 sections, which is a lot. And if you go to the American Book of the Dog, I did that one. And so if you go down to the bottom, it only shows 5 pages at a time. So if you can click through each one and see all the projects he's read, many of which are solos. I think he likes solos a lot. Occasionally he will land on something and help you out with a chapter, but mostly he does solos. So now we're down here to page 5. Now each one of these pages is 25 projects. So go to the last one, which is 8. And sure enough, that's the last one. And you can see War and Peace, volume 3 and 4. And you can also see War and Peace, volume 1 and 2 are complete. Wow, that is a huge project. And since he says he's going to talk today about conversational recording, I didn't know how to take that, and he will explain it. But it could be one of two ways. It could be sounding like you're in a conversation rather than reading by rote, or it could be when you're reading he said, she said, he said, she said. How do you handle that without it? Sometimes it's very annoying. And I would like to, with Emma, stop sharing my screen. I would like to commend James, or Jim here, our new member, Jim. Oh, look, hello. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Phyllis. Oh,
Hello.
look. And we have Mr. Jones today. Good. Don't have a picture, but we've got him. So anyways, I do want to commend James when he did the Hemingway book. The whole thing is nothing but he said, she said, he said, she said. And you managed to do that so well. I've never, ever heard it be done that well. So I'm commending you for that. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I recommend everybody listen. I'm not a big Hemingway fan. I don't like, and he depresses me, but you did a beautiful job with it. And now let's see, I do have to make one more comment, and that is we have someone with us today celebrating their 6th Libriversary, and that would be William Jones down there. Congratulations, Bill. Are you there? You might not even be there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So congratulations on sticking with it for 6 whole years.
I had a good mentor.
You did, and that was me, because I got you. He's the only person I've ever gotten to, of all the people I know, to sign up for LibriVox. So
Really?
I'm very proud of that. Yes. So how many of y'all have gotten people to sign up for LibriVox? Anybody?
I have.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Larry, who did you get to sign up?
Oh, most recently, my granddaughter.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
They needed a little girl voice, so I'm trying to edit it now.
Oh, so you get to edit it for her, huh?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right.
And Bill, who did you get?
I kept a few people from quitting, so
That counts too. That sure counts.
Well, the two people that I got to contribute to LibriVox were my granddaughter, Maeve, who did 1 section or 2 sections, and then she had to get on with her life. She's now a junior at the university in Burlington, Vermont, and I can't remember. University of Vermont, that's the name of the school. And then my wife, she's recorded 1 section of Elmer Gantry, and that's the only one she's done so far. And I have a feeling that with her medical conditions, that may be the only one she does. So I'm going to be the provider of 40 of the 41 sections.
So did you edit her chapter for her, or did she edit it herself?
I edited it.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. No, I'm sorry. There is a DPL, Mrs. Hand.
Uh-huh.
And so she's doing all of the, I did the editing.
He did
Mrs.
that.
Hannon doing the
Right.
proofing.
So this is just to show you all how unique we are, that we're sticking with this. And I think it's just spectacular because it's not for everybody, right? It's just a very unique calling for just a very few of us. Okay, so without further ado, Mark, I'm going to turn this session over to you, and you're going to tell us all about conversational recording.
Okay. And I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Done.
And if you do audio, you know how to click the two little boxes on the lower left to say share audio, share video kind of thing.
Share sound.
Yes, you want to do both of those.
Optimize for that. And I don't see my.
You might have
Oh, there
to.
it is.
Okay.
Allow Zoom to show. Okay, I have to do something first.
It's okay.
Have you got new eyes, Phyllis?
I do, Larry. Yep,
Me
Yeah.
too.
pretty
You
good.
have new eyes?
Cataract surgery.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
And
big
you're-
difference.
Yes, indeed. My husband was just told he needed cataract surgery. So that's going to be interesting. Is it painful?
Not at all.
Really?
And I'm a wuss, and there was no pain at all.
Okay. Did it take a few days to adjust?
The next day I was seeing 2015, so I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
that's good.
Brighter, more colorful world.
Hi, Stephanie. So how we doing, Mark? You ready?
I wish.
It's all right. Take your time. If you want
Oh,
to,
okay.
it says view. You can view not full screen. So in other words, the Zoom file can get smaller so you can see what's going on.
Here we go. All right. So, I want to show you Keynote. I knew we'd get there eventually.
There we go. I can see it. Can everybody see that?
Okay,
Yep.
let me watch it.
Okay, and I can hear you fine. Play. You want to play a video?
Yeah, I don't have my Oh, there we go. It's just in the way. Ta-da. Okay. So this is tips from the pros. These are things, hints, tips, tricks that I picked up along the way attending a series of professional narration workshops. And there are a handful of things that I found most helpful. I try to apply all the time. And I've sort of collected those into a little presentation. So you can pick and choose any of these that you think might help you and might be useful in people who want to advance their narration hobby. So the topic is achieving the conversational read. So what is a conversational read? It is
Exactly.
a style where it sounds like you are telling a story to a person sitting right across from you intimately and suck them into the story and speak the way you would normally speak when telling something, something that happened to you during the day. It is sort of the gold standard of narration. Listeners prefer a conversational read. I can tell you professional producers want to hear a conversational read. It's the style that's the most popular and easiest to listen to. Some things you can do to make your reads more conversational. One is few sentences need to have more than one word stressed. If you're stressing more than one word in a sentence, It's going to sound like you are announcing the text rather than reading or telling a story. Most sentences don't need to have any word stressed. And if you listen to conversation, just a normal conversation, you rarely hear the speaker punching up words. Now, this is really tempting to do, though, because most of us have a fear of being boring. If I just say it the way I would tell my neighbor this story, am I being boring? Because I'm not stressing any words. But it's a trap to fall into. If you stress more than one word in a sentence, you're probably pushing too much. There are things we learned in school, reading from primers, for example, that are hard to break over time. One is ending declarative sentences or phrases with a down inflection. We're taught in school, when you get to the period, you end it like this. I went to the door. I rang the bell. The woman answered. I asked if the person was home. It's something that really telegraphs, I am reading this, I am not telling this. If I told you that same story, I would say, I went to the door. I rang the bell. She came to the door. I asked if he was home. I don't do that dip at the end of every phrase because that sets up this repetitive, and since most text is declarative sentences, it creates this repeated pattern that goes da 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 don't, da 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 don't, da da don't, da 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 don't. So if you have a fear of being boring, this is much more important than stressing lots of words. On the flip side, read most questions as statements because that's what we do in real life. Are you ready? Where's my coat? Is the body cold? What was his name? We don't go, are you ready? Where's my coat?
I do.
You know, the Valley
I do that
Girl
in real
inflection.
life too.
Now, there are exceptions. Sometimes you really do need to do that up inflection because it just, the text demands it. But you'll know when. It will be obvious when you really have to hit that this was a question. Otherwise, read most questions as statements. I want to stress the last three things I said. This does not mean monotone. It's simply natural. And our natural conversational speak doesn't have a whole lot of inflection in it. Okay. Attributions. He said, she said, he retorted, she asked, they shouted. Those can be really intrusive and repetitive and frankly, get in the way. I don't know about you, when I read off just to myself off text, I often just kind of tune all that stuff out because I want to focus in my head on the actual dialogue. So I call this assiding attributions, which is like that. Leave it to me, he said. So the dialogue stands out, then there's a little beat, and then the attribution is very small. It's a way to keep those repeated attributions from interfering with the conversational nature of your read. Okay? Asked isn't a question, it's a statement. This is something that you can get into the double question. Who is it? She asked. Who is it? She asked. The second way is the way we talk. The double question, that question mark, the double question mark just really begs you to say it that way. Who is it? She asked. Who is it? She asked. I'll be talking more in a later presentation about more about punctuation, but I think this one fits here, and that is exclamation points. They don't automatically mean shout. If you're telling a story to someone sitting across a kitchen table, and even if there's a dramatic moment in it, I saw the car coming, I shouted, "Watch out." You probably would not actually scream that across the kitchen table.
Michelle might.
And we'll
I'm
blow out
rather
your microphone.
dramatic.
So I would suggest that when you see a lot of exclamation points, use tension instead of volume. So
Tension.
I saw the car
Yep.
coming. I saw the car coming. So I shouted, "Watch out." I don't have to raise my voice, but by adding tension, I give the impression that I'm shouting, "Watch out."
Mhm.
Okay? And that's actually all I have for today. Those are my instant tips. And if there are three, I would really encourage any, especially new narrators, to focus on is not emphasizing more than one word in a sentence. Don't use that down, avoid using that down inflection at the end of a sentence or a phrase. Although there's one area where I really like to do that, and that's at the end of a chapter, because that kind of says the end.
Mhm.
Ask questions as statements. You do those things, your reads will be much more conversational. That's it.
Good. Good
Happy
stuff.
reading.
Okay, stop sharing, and then I have a question, and then I bet other people do too. If you're
Okay.
available for Q&A. That was great.
You bet.
Now I forgot my question. I do that all the time. Anyway, y'all ask your questions and then I'll remember mine.
I have a question. Well, more of a statement, I guess. I have this horrible tendency of slipping into announcer mode when I start reading something. And don't know how to quite. Those are good tips, though. I don't know how to break out of
Yeah,
that.
yes, and not emphasizing words helps keep you out of announcer mode.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and that's the way announcers talk, but it's fine for a 30-second radio ad, but that's hard to listen to if you've got a 10-hour audiobook.
Mhm.
And personally, when I listen to professional audiobooks, I have an Audible account. I listen to them all the time out walking the dog. And I rarely have a complaint about a narrator I'm listening to. But the one is when I think, could you tone it down? I mean, really, you're killing me. Tone it down.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
The longer the book, the more you tone it down. But the longer people have to listen to that.
Exactly. Anything else?
Yeah, I remember my question. So conversational, when you're having a conversation with somebody, they don't, you're around the kitchen table, they don't notice your lip smacks and your pops and your too long
Breath,
S's
tones,
and
yeah.
breaths, stuff like that. So what is your thoughts? What are your thoughts about leaving that stuff in?
I don't worry about that stuff. I don't worry about that stuff in my professional recordings. Nobody cares.
Mm.
I have a theory, which is listening to yourself through headphones is the road to madness, because you will hear every little and honestly, listeners don't care. If you're telling a good story and you've sucked them in and they're into it, if you make a little noise, they're not going to care.
Yeah. I
It
think
might
the
even make
brain
it more
edits.
natural, more believable.
Yeah.
I think the brain edits out all of those non-meaningful sounds in any case. So
Have you ever listened to a recording where somebody has edited out all of the breath sounds? It's terrible.
I have, and they sound like robots.
Yeah.
It sounds really unnatural. Now,
They do.
I do edit out the really bad ones,
Yeah.
honestly. But I don't obsess over every little breath and every little lip sound. I just don't.
Okay, so
I've never
Stephen,
got a complaint either.
yeah, Stephen Seidel is been around for a long time. He's one of the longest LibriVox members, and he does a lot of travelogues and travel adventures, and just wonderful recorder. And I've done a lot of DPLing for him. And one time he DPL'd for me, and he said, Michele, he said, you know, you have a lot of breath noises. And he said the way he does, and he has a few breath noises too, but they're very mild, very quiet. He says he takes his one breath noise, and he does a noise sample on it, gets a noise profile, and then
Yeah.
he applies it to the entire file, which tamps down all of his breath noises. And it doesn't seem to affect the rest of his files in a negative way.
Yeah, that will work. And there are also de-breath plugins. And I played with them, and I've given up all the declickers and debreathers, and I just don't worry about it.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
There's also a difference between completely eliminating a breath or a click and just reducing it by
Yeah.
3 dB or 6 dB.
Yes. And I wish that somebody would do a tutorial for us on what is a dB and what is all those other terms that, you know, when you open up a declicker or a de-esser, it'll try to get you to set your thresholds on a variety of different things, none of which I know what they are. So I wish we could find a good tutorial on that. Somebody just explain to us.
any other questions?
One thing you emphasized, because I was watching you as well as your text, and when you were saying tension, you were using your body language, even though that's not going to
Exactly.
be visible in the narration, but it's going to come through
Yes,
in the voice.
but they'll hear it. They will
Exactly.
hear it.
And you
they will
can
hear
definitely
that.
hear when somebody smiles as they narrate.
Mhm.
They're having a good
Yes,
time as they
and
narrate.
other facial expressions. If you do an aside, it'll sound like an aside. But yes,
Good point.
physical. Yes.
Okay.
Anything else?
Do you find any difference when you're reading children's books? Do you read them the same conversational tone, or do you find that you read them differently?
Good question. For a children's book, I would read it bigger.
Mhm.
I would use more voice. I would use more character voices. I would definitely read it bigger, but I still wouldn't overdo it. But yeah, I would read it bigger. No question.
Okay.
Oh, the dogs are home, so I guess the party's
Any
over.
other- So
Any
you
other
gotta
questions?
go, Mark. You need to get going.
No, it's gonna
This
get
is
loud here
supposed
in
to
a
be
second.
5 minutes, but you took up way longer of your time than 5 minutes. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you
Anything
very
else?
much for it.
You bet. Thanks for your attention.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Mark.
Happy
That was
narrating.
awesome.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, and good luck with your War and Peace. Okay, so last month we did not get to brags, and I really love brags. So does anybody have anything that they've been working on this last month or two that they're just want to brag on, that they're really proud of, you know, that you want to call attention to?
I'll not really brag, but I guess it started with a volume of Robert Frost's poetry. He has a lot of somewhat obscure poems that are conversations. They'll have 3-5 characters in them. Death of a Hired Hand has 3 characters, I think. Anyway, we took a number of those and did them as little dramatic readings.
Mm.
And the results were just fabulous. We did Vachel Lindsay's Fireman's Ball that way too. And Vachel Lindsay is just a wild guy anyway, with all of his clang clangs. But I recruited specifically certain readers who I was familiar with, their voices that would fit those parts. And I think they just were spectacular.
So each one is a separate project, or they're all lumped into one
No.
project?
No, it's all in the book. So some poems will be one reader, but these that had conversations, different speakers in them, we
Right.
did as little dramatic readings.
But each
within
one was
the
a
volume.
separate project, or it's all one volume?
It's all one project.
And what's the name of the project?
Well, one of them we just completed was Anthology of Magazine Verse, 1914, edited by Stanley Braithwaite. He did that for like 6 or 7 years. So I'm working through those volumes. And then the other one.
And you're the BC on that?
Yeah. We're going to
That's
launch
perfect.
volume 15 pretty soon. It's got
And you're the
some more
editor
Rachel
as
in it.
well?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big project. That's hard work.
Well, Red Run has helped me on editing some of them. And then Kevin and I started a selection of Robert Frost poems. And then we decided to do it a little bit differently. And we have about half a dozen of those that are going to be little DRs. Should wrap that up this month.
Are you talking about Kevin Green?
Yes. Kevin S.
Kevin S.
Yeah.
Kevin Green. Yep. Who I convinced not to quit LibriVox.
Oh, I did that too.
Yeah, he had some good support.
Yeah.
But
poor
he stuck
little
with
guy.
it. He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me look down this list. Stephanie, you're being mighty quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. I have a really bad headache. It's really hot here. So I'm sitting in the room, the one room with the air conditioner and kind of nursing it. But yeah, so I guess a couple weeks ago, I wrapped up my first BC project, which was the very exciting sounding annual report of the Commissioner of Indian Affairs from 1827.
I saw that, and I love those reports.
Thank you.
I'll
And
be
yeah, so I've started the next one where we have multiple reports that I've been able to find, which is from 1837. So think, Trail of Tears and Indian removals and all the different reports, and actually a good number of reports on the education that they were trying to offer to various tribes. So I find it fascinating, but not everyone
I
does.
do too.
But,
I do too. Absolutely. It's
so
our
I was
roots.
pretty excited that went through.
Mhm. And there's a lot of public domain material in government reports too, and a lot of that is quite fascinating. Like the co-report on Katrina, which is right, in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
A whole
Indeed.
long report on what happened with Katrina.
There's a solo project that I'm DPL for. It's the final report on the January 6th Commission.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's see. Anybody else? No brags?
Come on, Rich.
Come on.
Your
I'm
DRs have been great.
I'm spending a month recovering from finishing up the second TR I've done. So I'm kind of lying low for a while until the bug
I haven't
hits
had
again.
courage to do one yet.
Okay, so y'all, my husband is the president of the Baton Rouge Astronomical Society in Baton Rouge, and he's always looking up at the stars. And I mean, every time anything, if Saturn and Mercury are close, he runs outside. He's got to see it, come see. And I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. So I do the newsletter for the club. I support the club every way that I can, but this club just keeps getting more and more actively involved in outreach and this and that. And I finally had to put my foot down to him a few days ago and said, look, this house is falling down around our heads, and all you can do is look at the sky. And I said, of course, he's president of the club, and we're having the Alcon convention here in Baton Rouge, Astronomical League, international people coming in for that. So, but at the end of this year, you're going to step down as president and you're going to pay some attention to this house of which you are the president. And we're going to pay attention to our own house and our own life for a while, and our own 2.5 acre yard, which is just falling apart. So I understand about taking a break from, outside things and focusing in on your other stuff in your personal life. Gotta happen. Of course, I'm not applying any of that to me. It's just to because I've got my LibriVox projects going on, that I want to do.
I want to know how many languages Jeff Wilson speaks. He's doing something in Chinese now.
Yes, yeah, right. I've started a solo project of Mencius, and this is James Lake's edition. So the introduction is 100 pages of English, and and I'm doing the notes also, which are which is of interest to students of Chinese. He criticizes Latin, a Latin translation, and quotes a bunch of ancient commentators. So this is going to be a challenging project.
And you speak Chinese?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Greek and
ancient Greek and German is my best foreign language. I've been doing 10 chapters so far in Das wundertätige Unterröckchen, those. Let's see. My next best is those are the ones that I speak well. I also understand pretty well Swedish and Italian.
So you have a gift for languages. That is a gift. That is definitely a gift. It's not something you can just decide you're going to do and do well. Were you exposed to these languages as a child?
Swedish I was exposed to as a child. Greek I just was exposed to in college and found fascinating. Chinese is my wife's native language.
Okay. So you speak that at home sometimes?
Sometimes.
That's
at least
good.
when my in-laws are around.
When your in-laws are around. All right.
I have a sad story to tell about Greek. So Stephanie, you may enjoy this. When I was in high school, I was an ambitious scholar, you might say. And I was teaching myself Greek. I had a couple of Greek primers. And I was teaching myself as best I could to understand the written Greek. I got to Purdue University, and I found a person there who was a Greek. He's probably dead now, and he looked at what I had learned from, and he says, "Bill, you're never going to learn to read Plato or Platon in the original because you were studying Attic Greek," and he spoke. What's the other Greek, Stephanie?
there's Koine Greek. That's the biblical Greek.
Yeah, and well, there are two major Greeks separated by a few generations, and I was studying the wrong one.
Oh.
No one told me.
Anybody else?
In our ancient Greek-speaking community, we regard Koine as sort of the default and Attic as an elevated register within it.
Elevated register. Wow, cool.
Phyllis, how many solos have you done? How many have we done together?
I have no idea, but you've done them all with me.
A couple dozen, probably.
Oh, after that Journal of Thoreau, it felt like a couple thousand.
Right.
So what are you working on now, Phyllis? Anything?
I am doing a biography of Amelia Bloomer, written by her husband.
Mm.
So yeah, kind of I've done Susan B. Anthony and Clara
Ghost stories.
Yeah, Dorothea Dix. So kind of following along in that. So,
But there were the ghost stories.
oh yeah, the one go at ghost stories. I had to try that. But doing voices, I don't know how you guys do it. I can't keep track. So that's why I like biographies, journals, because I just can't keep track of voices.
Yeah. Lisa, what's going on with you?
Well, nothing like what's going on with everybody else here, but I am going to be reading a chapter from Larry's latest. I can't remember the name of the anthology, but it's called the chapter I'm reading is called The Throwback, and it looks really fun. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been practicing it, so I'll be recording that within the next day or two and posting it. Yeah, otherwise I'm listening to everybody. It's like I need to get more going on. It's like so much stuff. And I will say, I appreciate that Mark Nelson coming on today. This was very good information to get, and actually is helpful because it helps me to oh, okay, so the things I thought I had to do, I don't have to do. So, and that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to actually trying to incorporate some of the things that he showed us today.
Mm-hmm. So we did I think in last month, we discussed the de-clicker and the de-esser. And even though you said to ignore that, I find that in my recordings, I can give you a shrill S that will split your eardrum. I don't know if it comes through my front teeth or what it is, but I used to painstakingly get rid of all those little sharp S's, and now I use the de-esser tool, and it just lowers them down, and it means a lot to me not to have it's okay if you have a few of those, but when your whole thing is replete with them, all you gotta do is just grab the whole file and de-ess, and they're all gone at one time. It's just wonderful.
I'll have to watch that.
Same thing with the de-clicker. I mean, I have a brand new reader who's just started, and he's a really good British reader. I mean, he's so good, but every phrase has got a loud click. So he's going to allow me to de-click his file for him, because he doesn't even use Audacity, and he doesn't even know how to, I can't explain how to do it in his platform. But he said, yes, please do it. So that's my afternoon homework, is going to be to de-click his file. A little bit of things is fine, but when it's a lot, these things do come in handy. And if you have to, I used to have to go through every single click and grab it and erase it, get rid of it, which lowers which smallens down your space between your phrases or whatever. With the de-clicker, it doesn't take any space away. It just gets rid of it. It's just wonderful. So I'm going to go on down the list here. I've got a few things that are really interesting to me that I would like to know if anybody here knows how, in your PL notes, like if you're the BC and you want to, you're doing a group project and somebody submits a file and you proof listen it and you post the PL notes. And let's say they don't get back to the PL notes within 3 weeks or a month, and you've got 30 posts in between. So in the magic window, I like to put in the notes section, PL'd on this day. Okay. So at least I can go back and find the day. But there are a few other people who put PL notes as a link to the actual PL note. And I'd like to know how to do that. Is there anybody here that knows how to do that?
I've never done that. I find it useful. I saved a link somewhere that had, see, what did I do? Oh, I know, it was one of the projects where I was VC. So I was able to go into the notes and I copied down the actual HTML that the person had used to link to the page, but I haven't gone beyond that to try it.
Well, if you find it, would you send it to me? I know,
Yeah, sure.
but Trisha does that in hers. The
Yeah.
thing is that you can't get into her magic window to see the HTML code. It has to be in one. I could just ask her and she could probably tell me. But the beauty of, if it's a short file, it's, you know, if it's like only 5 pages, but if you got these 20 and 30 page projects and you're like, okay, is it on page 12? Is it on page 18? It's really nice if you can provide a link. And the same, the way you, I know how to do links like in text, how you just grab the text and then you do the little link thing and then you provide the URL in there. I know how to do that in a post, but that does not work in the magic window. So I'm looking for that. Maybe you could find it and demonstrate it next month for us. Would you be willing to do that, Larry?
I'll work on something.
Yeah, there's a little sheet of paper icon at the top left corner of each post.
That's right. That's how you can get the URL. I know how to get the URL, and you can copy that URL, but it won't stick in the Magic Windows notes square the way it will if you're just doing it with a post. There's a special code you have to use. So I'd like to figure that out at some point. Larry, can I assign that to you?
Let's see.
What that means, you have to show up next
that's
month.
something different. I will see what I can do.
Unless somebody knows how to do it now.
I think Stephanie knows and she's just being quiet. No. Don't be shy.
No, I really don't. I tried to link the pages in that annual report, but because it was on Hathy Trust, it just went to the main, like, it didn't work. I got links, but it didn't actually work. So I've been very confused.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Am I sharing my screen? Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Let's try, let me just try something here. Let's try, oh no, I don't want that. I don't want you there. I want, oh, shuckins. Let me go to, wasn't planning on doing this. I don't have it set up. Let me go to, Readers Wanted Short Works. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, I hate that. Just hold on a minute now. Just a second here. Only one page, surely. Okay, there's coffee break. Okay, there's silver pictures. That's good. That's one of my projects there. Here's the magic window. And you'll see Anna's Whim. Okay, this goes Transcendental Wild Oats. You'll see in the notes column, PL Notes page 316. These were published on March the 16th. So let's say he turns in his revisions, and I have to go over here and find out 316. So now I go down to page 1. That's March 15th. So surely by March 16th, he should be there. March 16, PL Notes. March 16. There's the PL Notes. You see all the trouble I had to go to find those notes? If this link right here, what Jeffrey was talking about, this little box right here, if you click on it, If you, no, shoot. If you right click on it, you can save the link. And then you could go post it, you see. You could go post it. You think you could go, what in the hell is happening here? Stop. Stop it. I didn't do that. No. You could supposedly go.
Copy the link. not
I
save,
know you
save.
could go copy the link.
Mhm.
You'd think you could do this, but you can't. You can go to BC admin. You can go to this one here, PCPL notes. You should be able, you would hope. No, not in that one.
One in the notes.
Go in the
another
notes
place.
section where it says PL notes. You would hope that you could go paste. Well, shoot, I didn't paste that.
Posted the whole text of it.
Crap. I didn't do what I wanted it.
So
Anyway, the
I
thing is,
posted-
you would hope that you could paste your HTML code in there, but it doesn't. It pastes in there, but it doesn't create a live link. To make it
So
live,
look at
you
the-
would hope that you could do that link thing that you do in a post, but it isn't. It's not. Doesn't exist anymore.
look at the code that I put in the chat right now. It's that
Okay.
caret A space href equals and then so
You put
that's
in- you
what
put
I
in
just
the what?
realized. Put it in the chat.
Chat. Okay.
Do you see?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you would replace that link with the link to the post, and then you would replace the link to text with CPL notes, I think. I realized
Okay.
that I had this from In the Desert, a book that I'm BCing for him. He has all of his the beginning of the sections.
Okay, you know what I
posted.
found in recording all of these, that it doesn't record our chats. So I'm copying this and I will post it to the minutes that I put later, okay? So thanks for posting that. Let's go check it out and see. Just a minute here. Let's check this out. Let's see.
As
Okay, there again. I'm gonna check it out.
yeah, so you have to have the link plus the HTML code for it. to
Yeah, I
put it
know,
in.
but I don't care if I have the correct link. I'm just gonna check any old link right now.
Just like when you link to the text, the
Let's-
page of the
let's
text that somebody's
save it.
recording, you do that a
It
lot.
says link to text. It does say link to text. There you go. And if I go back, well, Stephanie, you saved the day, girlfriend.
Who said that first?
Let's say transcendental, it's link to text. Don't know which text, but there it is. There it is. There's some text. There's some link.
Yeah, there's
Excellent. Most excelente.
So yeah, so you have to replace that the actual link with the link to the post, I think, and then
Yeah. I
where it
know.
says
I know
link to
about that. You
text. Yeah,
do
yeah.
PL notes, whatever. Okay, so it works.
Brilliant.
So now I'm going to go over here. I've got to save this somewhere. I've got to, because
So
it's
you
not, it's
can-
not going to save it, you see. So I'm going to have to go over here.
In Zoom, you can click, if you have your chat open, there's 3 dots at the bottom. Where there's like several icons and then there's 3 dots. If you click that, you can actually save the chat.
Okay, hold on a minute. Let me do
Very
this
good.
first. Okay, I'm going to save this here in my notes, because that's going to solve a lot of problems. And then I'm going to go over here to this Zoom thing. Now you said do what? Share my screen.
You go to the chat, and then at
Chat.
the chat down where you can write in it,
Mhm.
there should be below that, there should be a 3 dots where it says more. You click on that and then you click and
Save
then
chat. So does it
Mhm.
save the chat for the whole hour-long session or just this one note?
It will save everything in your chat so far. So if you get to the end and then you save it, then that's fine.
Where does it save it to? It's just, in other words, it's something you can, when you're going back
It's-
and looking at this thing, you can open chat.
It'll save it as a text file on your computer. I
Oh,
think
okay.
it defaults to saving it in a folder called Zoom on in your documents. I think is where it defaults
Save
to.
chat. Okay. Most excellent. Okay, so we've covered brags and we've gotten this PL notes thing down. Yay. Been wanting to know how to do that for years. Thank you, Miss Stephanie. And it's 5 minutes to 12. Does anybody else have something they want to say?
I have a question for y'all. Not necessarily Zoom related. I'm recording a book called Elmer Gantry, and in it there are several references to Chautauquas, Chautauqua. A lot of U's and A's in that. And apparently it was a fad back in the late 1800s up to 1920. And it was begun in the city of Chautauqua, New York. And it was like a traveling sideshow, which contained entertainment and religious orations. That's where Elmer Gantry comes in, and just general adult education. And there were several Chautauqua circuits where Chautauqua groups would go around to different cities. And the whole thing petered out in about 1920. And I should have known this. Do any of you have an idea why the Chautauquas stopped around 1920?
A little before my time.
Not much, but no. Well, I was surprised to find it was because of the appearance of radios.
Mm.
No longer did people have to load up their kids in a picnic in the back of a wagon, hitch up the horses, and go to the place where the Chautauquas were being held. Michele, in one of your projects, I can't remember the name of it, a Black guy living in the swamps.
Dread.
Dread, thank you.
Yep.
Chautauquas were a real deal and something you could count on. And they stopped.
Revivals. They were called them revivals back in the South.
If they were totally religious oriented, and that just wasn't a feature on the program, then yeah, they were called revivals. There's still a Chautauqua Institute in Chautauqua, and I'm surprised it hasn't caught on more, because people like to go out and travel and picnic and all that stuff. But if you guys have come across any miscellaneous things about Chautauquas, please find a way to get that information to me.
Okay, Bill, as far as Elmer Gantry is concerned, I saw the movie. Is the movie and the book, are they anything alike?
No, not a way. The book is a big book, 41 sections, the way that I chopped it up. And it has so much more in the book, events and all. And the movie has like 1/10 of those events that are written in the book. We've come across that. I think I attended a book club about whose subject was Exodus.
So just start with just kind of basically, there's a form that I have to put your birth date on.
Somebody is talking. Somebody is
Not me.
offline is talking.
The Exodus movie, I loved it.
No, your
it.
date.
But the book has so much more in it. I mean, if you're a director or a producer trying to fit this much stuff into a hour and 20 minutes movie,
Mhm.
you're gonna have to leave it out.
Right.
That's a shame.
That speaks for reading books, right?
Yes, it does.
Continuing to read and listen to books too.
Wikipedia says Chautauqua, see also TED Talks.
No, it doesn't say that somewhere, does it?
There's a
It's right, that's
Chautauqua
close.
page on Wikipedia, and that's one of the links from there.
Oh,
So,
maybe TED talks about chakras or whatever. Maybe there's a TED talk on the subject, is what I think that means.
Actually, Rich is right. A TED Talk is pretty much like a section of a Chautauqua. Okay.
Okay,
ahead.
guys, it is 12 o'clock. And I thank you all for coming. I've enjoyed it so much. I like seeing your faces and knowing who you are. And I wish you bon voyage until next month. And James, I'll be looking for you to do something new. Okay?
I'll do my best.
You have a really good voice.
Thank you.
And I really encourage you to continue. Okay?
Well,
What
I
is-
started a new solo project,
Oh, you did?
PG Woodhouse collection. It's not Jeeves and Worcester, but it's called Meet Mr. Mulliner. And I think I've recorded 3 of the 9 or 10 sections.
Okay. And you have a DPL already?
Yes.
Okay. Okie doke. Well, thank you all so much. I enjoyed it. Hope we'll do it again next month. Okay. Take
All right,
care.
thanks.
Good
Bye-bye.
seeing everybody.
Bye.
All right.
Right.
I'm ending. Hit end
Okay.
right now.
Thanks,
Ouch.
Michelle.
Ah,
Oh, no. Oh, no.
ouch.